A major shakeup could be on the horizon at one of America's most critical federal prosecutor's offices, igniting fierce debates about the independence of justice under political pressure. Reports indicate that President Donald Trump is preparing to dismiss the US Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Erik Siebert, after his office failed to produce sufficient evidence to charge New York Attorney General Letitia James with mortgage fraud, a move that has raised serious questions about possible political interference in the Justice Department. Federal prosecutors in Virginia conducted a thorough investigation into allegations that James had knowingly committed mortgage fraud during her 2023 home purchase. However, despite extensive efforts, they found no credible evidence to support criminal charges. Nevertheless, officials aligned with Trump reportedly pushed Siebert to initiate prosecution against James, a notable political adversary of the former president. Insiders reveal that administration officials have already informed Siebert of Trump's plan to remove him, with his termination expected as soon as Friday. The ripple effects of firing Siebert could be profound. The Eastern District of Virginia's U.S. Attorney's Office is among the nation's most prominent, managing a large caseload that includes critical espionage and terrorism cases due to its proximity to Washington, D.C. Removing a relatively moderate prosecutor for refusing to bring charges could destabilize this office and amplify concerns that Trump is weaponizing the Department of Justice to target his opponents, a claim that has generated widespread controversy. Siebert was nominated for his role by Trump in May and was initially recommended by both of Virginia's Democratic senators, Mark Warner and Tim Kaine, who praised his dedication to public safety and experience tackling violent crime and firearms trafficking. The administration now reportedly seeks to replace him with someone who would be more aggressive in investigating James, signaling a shift toward politically motivated prosecutions. This development fits into a larger pattern criticized by Trump's opponents as retaliatory. Besides James, ongoing investigations target other Democratic figures, like Senator Adam Schiff and Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. Trump has long accused James of being biased and corrupt, accusing her of mounting politically motivated attacks against him throughout his presidency and beyond. He infamously labeled her a horror show, who ran on a platform aimed at going after him even before learning any details about him. James was instrumental in successfully prosecuting a civil fraud case against Trump last year, which found that he and his family committed extensive business fraud over a decade by inflating property values to secure favorable loans. This ruling resulted in a nearly $500 million fine against Trump and his sons, though an appeals court later overturned the financial penalties, affirming only the fraud findings. The mortgage fraud investigation into James was reportedly triggered by a criminal referral sent to the Department of Justice by Bill Pulte, director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, who accused James of falsifying documents related to her property purchase to misrepresent it as a primary residence. Pulte stated to Fox News that he believed James was the actual fraudster, not Trump, adding a sharp twist to the political feud. However, investigators found that the controversial document, a limited power of attorney signed by James's niece to close the home purchase, was never reviewed by the loan officers who approved the mortgage, undermining claims of intentional fraud. Siebert, before becoming U.S. Attorney, served with the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department and embarked on a legal career as an assistant U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia starting in 2010. He has led efforts against organized drug crime and supervised the Richmond division of the office. Following the resignation of his predecessor, Jessica Aber, after Trump's inauguration, Siebert stepped in as interim U.S. Attorney in early 2021, later receiving bipartisan support for his nomination. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Virginia often nicknamed the Rocket Docket due to its swift case handling, serves more than 6 million people with nearly 300 prosecutors. It plays a pivotal role in prosecuting significant terrorism and intelligence cases linked to the federal government's core operations. But here's where it gets controversial. Is removing a professional prosecutor simply for refusing to pursue charges based on political motives a dangerous precedent undermining judicial impartiality? Or is this a justified step to ensure accountability if investigators believe cases have been overlooked? This situation highlights an increasingly blurred line between legal processes and political influence. What do you think? Does this move reflect necessary enforcement or abuse of power? Share your perspective below and join the debate on how justice should be upheld in such politically charged times.